Greetings, welcome to another Genshin Impact video. Today we are talking about the Traveler, or as the wiki tells me their names are, Lumine, I think is her name, and I think her brother is called Ether, I think. I'm not completely sure. It doesn't really matter. We're going to be referring to her as the Traveler. That's how she's referred to in pretty much the entire game so far. And yeah. So anyway, the Traveler is the protagonist of the game. It is your main character, and as your main character, it actually is quite special. In case you didn't know, as I did until I read it online, the Traveler can actually change the element that it can use, and this in turn changes their abilities. So, as you can see right at the beginning of the game, she starts as Ameno, which is Wind, and she comes in with her normal attack that is nothing particularly amazing. Then Palm Vortex that, as you can see here, damage and area will gradually increase. This Vortex is probably the most important part of her wind aspect wind aspect powers, because wind, or Ameno, is actually one of the more curious elements in the game because it doesn't deal that much damage by itself. Instead, it relies on interacting with all of these other ones over here in order to create elemental reactions and spread them out to other enemies. And that is where its strength comes in. This is laid completely bare by the game when it asks you to, when it tells you that in the Abyss Dungeon Floor 2, that the damage and AoE of Palm Vortex is increased by 200%. So that is what wind characters are generally used for, and that's especially what her use is here. To use Palm Vortex to spread the elemental ailments that her allies inflicted on her enemies to the rest of the allies, to the rest of the enemies, and trigger more elemental reactions and deal lots of damage that way. So, Palm Vortex. As the initial cut damage is extremely low, max cutting damage is even pretty much lower. The initial storm damage, which is, I believe, the holding it, that if you start holding it until for 1 second, this will be it, and if you hold it for the maximum duration of max charging 8 seconds, really can last that long, that'll be the maximum duration. But as I just told you, the damage itself is not the important part. The important part is interacting with other elements. Then Gust Surge, or Tornado, honestly. This is her main way of dealing with lots of small enemies. As you can see, tornado damage is 101%, which is pretty decent considering it lasts 6 seconds. And additional elemental damage, I believe this is in referring to when it interacts with another element. This is how much that element would deal damage. 15-second cooldown, pretty much all standard things. It would deal additional elemental damage if it interacts with all this. So as I said before, you want to activate this when an enemy and all the other small enemies that are going to be drawn in by it are affected by an element, and that way you can spray it around. And lastly, her first talent after her first ascension grants her 5th attack of her normal weapon combo a type of wind blade that deals Ameno damage. Now this damage can trigger elemental reactions. They're not particularly powerful, but this is important, because this will allow you to activate wind statues without relying on the cooldown of Palm Vortex. And then her last talent that requires acceleration phase 4, Palm Vortex kills regenerate 2% HP, so a total of 10% HP over 5 seconds. So this is curious. I'm not sure why this is that, but hey, a little bit of healing is a little bit of healing. Now, when in this mode, we actually are not focusing on raw damage. We are focusing on damage, attack, and elemental mastery. So right now, I've got her with basically whatever I have left over from all my other girls, because they are more important, and I don't use her in this mode at least as much. So I've got her with as much attack and a little bit of elemental mastery as possible. As we can see here, let's see, what do we have? Stronger elementary can be released. Increase the damage caused by vaporize and melt. Not it. That's not ours. Shatter. That's not ours. Absolution powers of shields created to crystallize. So as you can see, elemental mastery does not increase her at all. The interaction of wind with other elements at all. So you want raw attack on her at all times, at least for now. Anyway, until we get a new region. Now, how do you change her element? Well, if you open up your map and you click on any of the statues in Liyue, you will see that it says your Statue of the 7 Geo. That is your cue that is one of the statues that you can change element to. If we click on this one, you can see it says Anemo. Then that means this statue you can switch it over to Wind. So we're going to touch this statue right here. Now she needs to be the active character in your party in order for this to work. And then here it is, Resonate with Geo. We click this. We click a fancy, well, we see a little fancy animation there, and suddenly our abilities are not completely different. So our main normal attack stays the same. It is a 5-hit attack with a 2 quick charge attack that has a little bit of knockback with stamina cost and all that. So that doesn't change. What does change is everything else. So our first ability is Starfill Sword. You disgorge a meteorite from the depths of the earth, dealing AoE geo damage. And then it stays on the field for a significant amount of time, and it acts as a barrier against projectiles and attacks. So as you can see, it deals a significant amount of damage. It can last up to 30 seconds, and the cooldown is only 8 seconds. So this is something you want to spam during combat. And we'll actually do a little bit of spamming this as a demonstration of our abilities in Geo. Then, Wake of Earth. This is literally, you step on the ground and create a giant earthquake. So running enemies back and deals AoE damage, well, Geo damage, and then it constructs 4 small walls that also act as barriers and impassable terrain unless the enemy jumps over them. So, let's see, it's 185% damage per shockwave. How many shockwaves are there? Let's see, expanding shockwave. It doesn't say, but I think it's at least 3 shockwaves, so it's a significant amount of damage. The cooldown isn't too much, and the energy cost is okay. Then, Shattered Rock reduces Starfill Sword's cooldown by 2 seconds. That is why this one here it says to 8 seconds, so it's usually 10. And then her last talent, the final hit of a normal attack triggers a classic. So this is very similar to the one she has in Animo, where it creates a Windblade. This one creates a little AoE. Now, let's talk about Constellation, because as you can see here, it is very easy to unlock pretty much everything here. And that is because if we click on this, you will see it is a main quest reward and purchased from the souvenir shop in Liyue. I believe I have purchased a total of 5 of these in Liyue for a currency that I don't even use for much else. I believe it's a small little thing you get in chests and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, opening up the Constellation is actually very easy. So, what do we have? Allies within the radius of Wake of Earth, that's the Elemental Burst, have their crit rate increased by 10%. So you create a small arena where your allies are stronger. Not too bad. When the meteorite created by Starfill Sword is destroyed, it will also explode, dealing additional AoE damage equal to the amount of damage dealt by Starfill Sword. So this means that if you have a big enemy that can easily destroy your little meteorites, if you spam them around, that means you can have them deal double the damage if you have them destroy them for you. So a very nice talent right there. Increase the level of Wake of Earth, that's our Elemental Burst. The shockwave triggered by Wake of Earth regenerates 5 energy for every enemy hit up to a maximum of 25. So this means that if you hit 5 enemies with your ultimate, you will regenerate 25 out of the 60 energy you need, so that's over half. So that makes this elemental path or element that she can use very spammy. And Elemental Impact increases the Starfill Sword level by 3, that's why it deals so much damage right now. And lastly, Everlasting Boulder. The barrier created by Wake of Earth lasts 5 seconds longer, and the meteorite created by Starfill Sword lasts 10 seconds longer. Okay, so this is kind of meh. So, yeah. That is what she can do. And that is how you can switch her around from Anemo to Geo. So right now, we're going to find something to fight to show you what you can do in her Geo forms. So, where are you? Where are you? We are looking for... Nope, we're not looking for that. We are... Aha, here we go. This is what we are looking for, because I need these right now. I think. Is that what I'm looking for? No, this is what I'm looking for. Yes, you. I need these right now. So, where is one of you? Aha, not too far off. So, let's go fight him, shall we? These guys are a bit annoying because they go invisible and... yeah. Okay, where are you? Oh, he's over there on the stairs. You can see him right there. Let's see if we can't go the long way around and literally drop in on him with an attack. Hello, good sir. There we go, 1,425 along with fall damage. And more damage. Come on, come here, come over here. Come on, where are you? Are you stuck down there? I'll take that sweet flower. And as you can see, that one over there exploded because the time went off. Oh, you silly goose. 2,253 damage. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, just spamming this around is an amazing way to fight. 1,400, and there it is. So we now saw that it is actually 4 shockwaves that happened there. Amber, there you are. I see you. There we go, more damage from our exploring boulders. Well, that one just replaced that one, unfortunately. And we are very low on health. So let's do this a little bit on the up. Oh, that damage, 2,100. We got a little bit of healing on the Traveler. There we go, 1,600. I see him, I see him. There he is, he's walking on the grass, he's trying to follow us. Let's let him charge at us. There he is. 2,100, very nice. Where did you go? Oh, there you are. 1,400, not too bad on the damage there. And he has exploded. So as you can see, her geoform is actually quite fun to play around, putting all these boulders all over the place. Now, the other important part here is that these boulders actually serve a secondary purpose during the exploration, and that is to solve a bunch of the geo puzzles that are all over Liyue. So let's go demonstrate one of these. I am looking for something very specific. There's a very specific one. I believe it's here. Yes, here. I'll show you what I mean. Because all around Liyue, there are going to be certain stone platforms that when you stand on them, they only half activate. That's because you need to lay down one of those stone meteor things in order to fully activate it. Let's see if the one that I use over here is available. It should be, or maybe not. It is not. There's usually one over there right where those birds were. So let's go look for the one that I do know exists, which is right here. So when I found this little puzzle while exploring, I was like, how do I even do this? I was doing everything. I was thinking of jumping around, gliding down. But it turns out that without turning her into Geo, this puzzle is unsolvable. So this is where the puzzle was, and down in the water, right here, was that stone platform I mentioned that we see all over the place. And up there, like way up there, was a little Geo-Oculus. So what you needed to do was do this. That had it appear there. And then, because you're standing on top of a giant meteorite, you now weigh a lot more, and the platform activated. So that is how you solve a bunch of the puzzles in Liyue, yes, that require you to, well, lay down those platforms. Now, I don't think I have any of those platforms left on everything I've done. And look, hey, looks like he's back already there. Look, oh, hold on. That's just a destroyed tower. I don't think I've been able to find any more of those because I've been doing them as I've been finding them. I don't think I'll be able to find one right here. The other thing you'll end up fighting over the Liyue are little elemental nodes, elemental statues, the one you activate with a certain element, that correspond to Geo. Now, if you have Noelle, you might be able to cheese them around them by spamming her breastplate ability or by using her ultimate to activate a lot of them at any given time. But that is what, well, this is supposed to be for. Ah, nothing fell? I'm kind of disappointed that nothing fell. So yeah, that is the Traveler. Now, I am looking forward to December where we get a new zone and we get a new element for her. Because right now, Geo is my current favorite, although I do have to sometimes switch her over to Anemo to do some things. But as you can see, Geo is actually very fun to use, and I actually believe that spamming these meteors here, these meteors are probably going to be very useful in the fight against the Storm Terror's lair, because if you recall, in Storm Terror's lair, he does his giant attack where he sprays a bunch of wind breath on top of the entire platform slowly, and you need to hit him in the legs in order to break his shield. So by putting this on one leg, running to the other side, and putting one in the other leg, and then attacking, he will destroy him and have them deal double damage. So I'm looking forward to trying that out. So, hope you found this useful. And the reason I did not speak about her weapon is because this is the only weapon I have for her. I have not found anything better than this. You can actually craft it at the smithy, so you can make this stronger. Unfortunately, this 4% only increases by 1% for every refine you perform. So the maximum is 8%, I believe, which is kind of low. But considering her standard attack right now is 947 and Shang Ling, who's my best attacker, is 991, it is definitely not bad. So we will see you next time.